Formula One is a sport defined by endurance, strategy, tire management, and race-long precision. But before a single light turns green, everything begins with a showdown unlike any other: qualifying. It is the moment when a driver strips away the noise, calculations, and pacing and attempts something brutally simple yet impossibly difficult: the single fastest lap they can produce. No race strategy, no tire conservation, no long-game thinking, just pure speed distilled into 90 seconds of perfection. For most drivers, qualifying is stressful, unpredictable, and overwhelmingly intense. For Lewis Hamilton, it became something else entirely. It became a stage, a weapon, a battlefield he dominated with unprecedented consistency. His record, 104 pole positions, doesn't just eclipse Senna, Schumacher, and Vettel. It stands as one of the most untouchable achievements in motorsport history. Even more astonishing is how he achieved them, with a unique blend of instinct, adaptability, and psychological clarity that allowed him to enter a zone few athletes have ever accessed. Hamilton didn't simply chase the perfect lap. He summoned it, again and again, across radically different machinery, rule sets, and competitive eras. His greatness on Saturday was never accidental. It was engineered from within, controlled chaos, the psychology behind his precision. Qualifying is a paradox. Drivers need adrenaline, but not so much that they lose sensitivity. They need aggression, but not at the expense of control. They must push the car to the absolute physical limit, but also maintain a mental state that is calm enough to process thousands of micro-inputs every second. Lewis Hamilton understood this dance better than anyone. He often described qualifying as controlled chaos, a phrase that reveals more about his psychology than any technical analysis ever could. His approach wasn't based on detailed visualization or tightly scripted mental routines. In fact, Hamilton once said he doesn't believe in visualizing a lap before he drives it because no driver can anticipate the tiny slides, changes in grip, and unpredictable variables that define a qualifying session. Instead, he embraced the uncertainty. "You can't predict what you're about to do," he said. "You just have to be ready." This mindset is crucial. Most drivers try to reduce uncertainty. Hamilton trained himself to thrive inside it. He relied on instinct in its purest form, a level of reaction so acute that he could catch snap oversteer at the instant it began, adjust brake pressure mid-corner, and feel the tire carcass flex beneath him. These reactions were not conscious decisions. They were the product of years spent sharpening the connection between body, machinery, and environment until they felt like a single organism. Qualifying nerves never hindered him. They energized him. He channeled the spike of adrenaline into heightened clarity rather than fear. Where others tensed up, Hamilton loosened, absorbing every detail the car communicated. This is the psychology that set him apart, a willingness to trust himself completely in moments where doubt destroys performance. The hybrid-era mastery, understanding what the car needed. Pure psychology was only half the story. The technical demands of modern Formula One qualifying are extraordinarily complex, especially in the hybrid era where tire temperatures, battery deployment, and engine mapping have to align perfectly. Hamilton didn't just adapt to these changes, he mastered them. In the turbo-hybrid era, the most important lap of the weekend often began long before the driver crossed the start-finish line. It began on the outlap. Bringing Pirelli tires into their optimal temperature window is incredibly delicate. Too slow and the tires stay cold, too fast and they overheat before the timed lap even begins. Many drivers struggled for seasons to learn this balancing act. Hamilton understood it intuitively. He weaved aggressively when necessary, backed off when the tire surface demanded it, and timed his final corner approach to begin the lap with temperature distributed perfectly front to rear. This almost scientific approach to preparation is one of the reasons he dominated teams and teammates who had the same machinery. His adaptability across eras further cemented his superiority. The aggressive, high-revving V8s of his McLaren years required a totally different driving philosophy than the torque-heavy, battery-dependent hybrids of Mercedes. Yet Hamilton tuned his style seamlessly for both. The fact that he could produce poles in 2007 with a very different driving technique than in 2018 or 2020 is proof of a deeper mastery, one not tied to a specific car, but to an internal calibration that understood how to extract peak performance from whatever machine he was given. During the hybrid era, his Saturday performances didn't just stand out, they became expected. Teams, fans, commentators, and even rival drivers would walk into Q3 assuming Hamilton would find something extra, some hidden tenth no one else could locate. And the incredible part is that he usually did. The money lap, delivering when it matters most. Hamilton's reputation wasn't built on practice sessions or early run pace. It was built on the final 2 minutes of qualifying, the money lap. This is the lap that separates champions from contenders and legends from champions. What made Hamilton's money laps extraordinary was his ability to find time in places where other drivers were already pushing the limit. He could enter fast corners with more commitment, brake later without losing stability, and carry minimum speed that defied the physics other drivers were dealing with. In moments where precision meets chaos, he operated at a level others simply couldn't reach. A Hamilton pole lap is a study in contradictions. He drove with fearless aggression, yet every movement was unbelievably smooth. He took corners with millimeter precision, but his car danced, slid, and skated in ways that looked on the edge of disaster until the lap ended and the stopwatch revealed perfection. His statistics reinforce this dominance. He once captured 7 consecutive poles in a single season, and over 58% of his poles converted directly into race wins. For more than a decade, Saturday afternoons carried a sense of inevitability. If Hamilton was in the session, he was the man to beat. This was not arrogance, it was mastery, the undeniable legacy, why his qualifying record stands alone. When people debate Lewis Hamilton's legacy, they often look to his race victories, his championships, and his wheel-to-wheel brilliance. But hidden behind all of that is the foundation that made his Sunday triumphs possible, his unmatched skill in qualifying. Hamilton's qualifying record is not simply a list of statistics, it is evidence of a psychological, technical, and instinctive talent that Formula the First of may not see again for generations. Pole laps require perfection, no mistakes, no hesitations, no room to rethink a line or break point. And Hamilton produced that perfection again and again, across changing weather, evolving regulations, and fierce competition. He didn't just set the standard, he became the standard. His ability to merge instinct with precision, chaos with calm, aggression with control, this is why he stands as the pole position king. The man whose superpower was not simply racing, but mastering the moment when racing is distilled into its purest form, the single lap that demands everything a driver has. Hamilton showed the world that true greatness isn't only seen in the long battles of Sunday, but in the quiet, focused violence of Saturday. The perfect lap is a rare thing. Lewis Hamilton made it feel inevitable, and that is why his qualifying legacy will endure long after every stopwatch has stopped ticking. Long after engines fall silent and new eras of technology reshape the sport, the echoes of Hamilton's qualifying laps will remain. They were not just fast, they were statements, declarations of intent carved into the asphalt. Every pole position was a reminder that he had an extra dimension to his driving, an ability to summon speed on demand, even when the car beneath him wasn't the class of the field. His one-lap brilliance transcended machinery. It came from a place deeper than engineering. It came from intuition refined by years of karting, from an almost artistic connection to grip, balance, and momentum. What made Hamilton's qualifying mastery so extraordinary was the way he elevated pressure into fuel. In moments when others tensed, he unlocked something freer, sharper, more dangerous. The final sector of a Hamilton pole lap often felt otherworldly, as if he had discovered grip that no one else could perceive. And on days when track conditions shifted lap by lap, he thrived, finding the limit instantly, trusting his senses, committing with absolute conviction. That is the hallmark of a driver who doesn't chase the perfect lap but creates it. Even his rivals spoke of the aura he carried on Saturdays. They knew that if Hamilton was within striking distance, something spectacular could materialize in the final attempt. He could transform a messy session into brilliance in seconds, pulling time out of corners where physics suggested there was none. His ability to read the circuit, adapt the car, and execute flawlessly made qualifying not just a session, but a stage where his genius shone brightest. Future generations will study his onboard laps the way musicians study the masters, analyzing rhythm, timing, and flow. They'll notice how smooth his inputs were at impossible speeds, how effortless he made the complexity look, how precision became a kind of poetry. For young drivers, Hamilton's qualifying laps will remain both an inspiration and a target, proof of what is possible when talent, work ethic, and instinct converge. And as the years pass, the memory of those Saturdays will not fade. They will be retold as legend, of the driver who danced with the limit and never feared it, who turned the pursuit of perfection into a spectacle of its own. Hamilton didn't just make pole positions, he made moments. Moments that defined eras, broke records, and reshaped what fans believed a human being could do behind the wheel. That legacy is immovable, it is timeless, and it ensures that Lewis Hamilton's name will forever be synonymous with the art of qualifying.